How long does it take for the National Visa Center to send a documentary complete case to the embassy for an interview? To answer this question and many more NVC updates, all you have to do is watch this video. Hello everybody and welcome back to our Immigration channel. This is a place where we explain complicated immigration matters in very simple terms. In this video, I'm going to provide to you the most recent update that we have from the National Visa Center. This was provided by the National Visa Center to the American Immigration Lawyers Association, and I'll give you the highlights of these updates. We'll talk about how long does it take on average for a documentary qualified case to be sent from NVC to a US embassy. We'll go over how many cases have been so far completed in 2023 by the NVC. This is current as of mid-February. I'm also explaining to you the process of transferring files from UCIS to NVC, and we'll talk about the current time frame, how long does it take for cases to move from immigration to the National Visa Center. And we'll cover a few other items, so make sure you watch this video all the way until the end. But before we do that, if you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos, and also give us a big like so YouTube will be able to show this video to more people just like you. So typically, State Department agencies meet with the American Immigration Lawyers Association a few times a year and provide certain info to allow their attorneys who are representing clients, attorneys that just like myself, to be able to understand how the system works and allow us to serve our clients better. At this meeting, they talked about one of the most questions that people ask is literally how long does it take for a documentary complete case to leave NVC and move to an embassy for a scheduled visa interview. And this is what they said. The State Department said that pursuant to the regulations, they are guided by the Foreign Affairs Manual, they're trying to schedule K-1 visas, fiancé visas, and non-immigrant visas interviews within 30 days. This is what they're trying to do. Now, the reality is obviously not the same. They're also trying to schedule immigrant visas and employment-based cases within 60 days after their documentary complete. But we know that in reality, that's not the case. What in fact the State Department is saying is that while they're striving to get to those numbers, in reality, it's not happening. 90% of all embassies and consulates worldwide are backlogged, which means that currently there is no average standard time for National Visa Center to send documentary complete cases to the different embassies. Each embassy is different right now. Each embassy is working a different schedule. Some of these embassies are working on limited capacity. Others are open, but they don't have enough staff to process cases. And therefore, if you watch my previous videos, you can see that every month we give you different statistics as to which embassies are working, which embassies are processing, and what cases are being sent to the embassies. So there is currently no average. And when we're looking at our clients and other members of our Facebook group where we share information and ideas, we can see that there's not really a standard average processing time for any of these cases. Some embassies are a little bit faster, but we can see that specifically in the past couple of years, there's nobody that is moving faster than 6 months at the minimum after their cases are documentary complete to any post-consulate embassy worldwide. We've seen that the fastest cases that we're moving were about 6 months, 5-6 months, and some of these longer cases are spending over a year, even a year and a half before they're even getting the opportunity to see an interview. So what we can learn from that is the State Department, obviously they're trying to speed up processing, they're trying to make those embassies go faster, but until embassies are opening slots for interviews, the National Visa Center cannot just send cases to the embassy until they authorize that release, because embassies don't have the capacity to hold cases, and obviously the State Department is now going to be responsible for loss of files or for people just losing the opportunity to finish their immigration process. So therefore, National Visa Center is just holding these cases, they're sitting there, they're going to be sending you those emails to pay the fees and things like that, but you're not going to see an interview until an embassy will open an interview slot and tell National Visa Center to send your case for an interview. So the bottom line is that for the moment, it varies and there's no standard time. They also released statistics as to the number of documentary complete cases that they've done every year since 2020. So in 2020, they've completed 321,274 cases that were documentary complete and ready to go to an embassy interview. In 2021, that number increased to 342,392 cases. There was almost a 20,000 increase from 2020. And in 2022, the number was 343,277 cases, very small increase from 2021. In 2023, so far they have about 140,084 cases ready and documentary complete, which means that this year they probably will pass the number of cases that were documentary complete in 2022. Now let's talk about the process of transferring files from UCIS to the National Visa Center. A lot of my clients, a lot of people watching these videos are concerned that once USCIS approved their case, they're not hearing any information from National Visa Center. Sometimes a couple of months are going by and there's no information. So let's kind of talk about a little bit of how that process works. This is the basic information that we received from the National Visa Center at that meeting with the American Immigration Lawyers Association. Now, as you know, the immigration system shifted to the electronic immigration system, also known as ELIS. All the files are being logged in electronically right now. And so all these files that are being processed to the ELIS system at USCIS are being logged in, processed, approved, and transferred to the National Visa Center electronically. They're not sending them any physical files anymore. Now, there are some cases that are still being sent by mail. Typically, the cases that are being sent by mail will take about a month to process and to arrive to the National Visa Center, but everything that is done electronically should be able to get a fee bill within 2 to 3 days. And so in cases where your petition has been approved by USCIS and it's been over 2 months that you haven't received any action from National Visa Center, you need to contact USCIS and the National Visa Center to let them know so they can start checking and looking for your file. Don't just wait, because if you wait too long, it will definitely cause delays in your case and there's no reason for it. So like I say, I would wait a couple of months and then start making your inquiries to make sure that your files are actually being logged into the system and you're getting the email welcome from National Visa Center. Another quick update is that for those of you that are processing waivers, if you overstayed your visa and you're not able to finish your process inside the United States, or if you came here unlawfully, the way that works is that USCIS will notify National Visa Center that there is a waiver pending and that the waiver is being processed. National Visa Center will hold your case and not send it to the US Embassy until your waiver is approved. And at that point, they'll notify the embassy, and if the embassy has slots available, they'll send your case to the embassy. There are cases where embassies already receive files from NVC. In those cases, when you have an interview scheduled, make sure you reschedule your interview. Do not go to the interview unless you have approved waiver, because if you do, you won't be able to come back to the United States. So it's really important to understand that. Finally, one big question was asked by a lot of people is, when will NVC bring back their phone line, the customer service by phone? Right now, you cannot get a hold of NVC by phone. They said there's any recent update as to when they're going to bring the phone service back. For the moment, the best way to communicate with NVC is through email, through the inquiry forms, and they usually respond with less than 7 days, sometimes even sooner. So for the moment, unfortunately, they're not going to come back on the phone, and you won't be able to talk to any representative in 2023. Finally, if you have a case at NVC and your case is not being documented complete yet because the NVC is not getting your documents, or you're not able to provide certain documents, for example, let's say an updated birth certificate or a marriage certificate, you need to provide a statement to the National Visa Center with proof why you cannot obtain this document. NVC will accept the statement and will finish your case, will deem it documented complete, so you'll be ready to go to the embassy. Remember, many people are struggling with this. They're kind of going back and forth, and the case is kind of open at NVC. They're not able to close them because you're not providing the documents. If you cannot provide a particular document, just get a statement proving that you're not able to get it, send it to NVC. They'll finalize your case, and your case will be ready to go for an interview. And at that point, you'll be able to work with the embassy eventually to explain why you cannot obtain these documents. Once again, hopefully you find this information helpful. If you need my help with any of your immigration matters, all you have to do is send me a text, 619-483-4549. I'm here to help you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.